We're now going to start off with what's new on GTV. Here on this set, CPA Adil Baloch, whom you see and meet and greet on the Capitol Forum every Saturday morning, is on camera. And he has alongside him attorney and Mr. Daniel Wright. Let's get to know all about Attorney Wright from this particular interview.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the Capitol Forum. This morning, we have attorney Daniel J. Wright with us. We are going to actually get into his introduction. This is something supposed to be what's new at GTV. That's part of our introduction for Attorney J. Wright to welcome him on the program. My name is Adil A. Baloch. I am a certified public accountant and a certified tax resolution specialist. My practice by the name of Accurate Records and Tax Services is based out of Montgomery Village, Maryland. So Attorney Wright, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Adil. It's nice to see you again.
You're welcome. So Attorney Wright, let's start with, tell us a little bit about your practice. What kind of practice, where it's located, and
Yes. Adil, my office is in Rockville, Maryland, and it's right across the street from the court in Rockville. I've been there for about 10 years, and I've been practicing law for about 35 years. My practice mostly is criminal, family, and civil cases in the courts of Maryland and occasionally in the federal courts.
well, pretty impressive, 35 years. So being in Rockville 10 years and being in practice 35 years, where did the other 25 go?
Well, when I graduated from law school, I practiced law in Washington, D.C. for a while, and after a while I got married and we had kids, and we decided we would move out to Maryland to be in the suburbs so that we could have a little backyard for the kids to grow up.
Wow.
So I sort of gravitated to Maryland as opposed to Washington, D.C. Yeah. I went to school in Wisconsin. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin and the University of Wisconsin Law School. But after I graduated, I came out to Washington in order to find a job.
Wisconsin, which campus?
The University of Wisconsin Law School is in Madison.
Madison.
And a beautiful city. I also went to undergraduate school there. It's a wonderful place. There's lakes and many things to do, and it's a good school.
Very good. Well, welcome to Maryland. It's a belated welcome, but welcome to Maryland anyways.
Thanks. Yeah.
So you mentioned you worked in Washington, D.C. for a while before moving to Maryland?
I did. I worked in Washington for a number of years and in several different firms, and doing many different kinds of cases. We did administrative cases for the different federal agencies, Federal Communications Commission, different agencies and courts in Washington. But more recently, it's been in Maryland. Maryland has got lots of courts and can keep anybody busy for a long time.
I know it keeps you pretty busy. That's actually a good problem to have. Yeah. So your practice in Maryland, what's your primary focus that you do now?
I do any kind of court case that is commonly done in the courts of Maryland. For the most part, I would say 30%, about a third, would be criminal cases. Sometimes these are misdemeanors or small cases, and occasionally somebody gets into even bigger trouble with a felony, and you might have a case go to a jury trial. I also do family law cases, which would be divorce cases, child custody disputes, disputes concerning child support, and anything within that realm.
Just for the interest of the viewer, just for the viewers' knowledge, you mentioned two words, misdemeanor and felony. What is the difference between the two?
A misdemeanor is a smaller criminal case. A felony is far more serious. In most states, although not Maryland, a misdemeanor is defined as a case that carries no more than 1 year maximum possible punishment. And a felony is greater. In Maryland, we don't have that definition, but it gives you an idea that misdemeanors tend to be the smaller, lower level cases. The kind of case that a regular, everyday person might make a mistake and get involved in, say driving under the influence of alcohol, trespassing, disorderly conduct. These are misdemeanors. A felony would be a burglary, a robbery, theft over $1,000, malicious destruction of property in some cases. So the more serious the crime would be a felony.
Wow. Well, very helpful. I did not know that difference myself, so I'm glad I asked you that question.
These days, it doesn't have quite the significance that it once did.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
In Maryland, you have the crime of second-degree assault, which actually is a misdemeanor, but can carry up to 10 years in jail.
Wow.
You might not, if you got a 10-year sentence, you might not care whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony.
That's true. That's very true. So the idea is to just stay away from trouble as much as possible.
And most people don't know the difference. Most people don't know. It's a legal phrase that doesn't really have all that much significance.
So going back to your experience in Washington, D.C., you mentioned a few agencies that you had some experience with. Can you share some of that? What exactly did you do with the agencies? Or what role did you play? Or was it you were actually working for the agencies?
Agencies are the primary regulator of business in the United States. The big businesses are regulated by the federal government. And they have their own procedure of deciding either contested cases or announcing policy positions. And we did all kinds of contested cases before different agencies. And when you are reach the end of the road with the agency, and the agency has issued a decision, if you're unhappy with that, typically you would appeal that to one of the federal courts of appeal. And in the 1980s, I once did a agency appeal to the Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. And I remember one of our judges was Antonin Scalia, who you just heard about passing away. He was a judge on the Court of Appeals in those days. I remember very clearly the case, and he was all over the lawyers. He was quite active in grilling the attorneys about their case.
Wow. So let me ask you this, Attorney Wright. If I were to get some help, let's say I have either a client of mine that's looking for some help, or I have somebody that needs a lawyer and they have a specific situation. What would be the situations or issues or problems that they would Google and your name will show up? What exactly would you be helpful with?
Like I said, most of my practice is in litigation in the courts of Maryland. Now, many attorneys don't do litigation. Many attorneys advise clients how to stay out of trouble. And that's a perfectly honorable job too.
Sure.
So most of my business involves once the people have already gotten to the point of having to file some kind of legal case.
I see. So once again, just for because we're interviewing an attorney, obviously we'll have to go back and forth and clarifying some of these terms. You mentioned litigation. Could you please just put that in layman's terms for the benefit of the viewers?
When somebody is suing somebody else or the government is suing someone. In a criminal case, it's always the state of Maryland versus an individual, or if it's in federal court, United States versus the person.
I see.
If I sue you, it would be Daniel Wright versus Adel Baloch.
Got it.
So
Got it.
We don't have private people bringing criminal cases.
I see.
Only the government can bring a criminal case, and
helps
that's why
clarify.
after a case is filed, only the government can bring it back.
I see.
A person can't drop charges once the case has been filed.
Well, that's helpful to know. So over the years in working with you, I have heard a few things, either talking to you or being in your office, just overhearing a few things here and there, I've heard things like child custody. I've heard things like divorce, DUI, DWI, and so on and so forth. So how does that all fit into what you do? It seems to be pretty broad. Everything seems pretty broad. So you handle all these things?
Because I've been doing it for so long, Otto, you made me into an old man. Because I've been doing it so long, I've done a lot of different things.
So you're very
it's
comfortable
like riding
doing
a
everything.
bicycle. You don't forget too much.
Gotcha.
If you work to keep up on new developments in the law, you can do cases in a broad variety of fields. And I like to have a little variety. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again every day.
I see.
I like having new types of cases. Teach me some new area of the law.
Very good, very good. Now, again, just because I've known you for so long, I'm just going to bring it up. On the corporate side,
Sure.
I know you have dealt with agencies on behalf of companies or employers and so on and so forth. So in addition to doing all these other things that I just mentioned, which are pretty much family, they fall under family law.
Sure.
But the corporate side of it, dealing with the agencies on behalf of employers or deciphering some of the complex transactions within the corporate industry.
Sure.
Is that because you have done it for so long, or is that something
well,
that...
I did corporate and business law for 20 years. I have a lot of experience in that area too. And business is a very fascinating and interesting area. It's a very intellectual area if you get into it deeply. And just like your field, accounting is a very deep intellectual field. And it's not just adding up numbers. There are many issues that you can study quite deeply.
Very good. Now, I think we're getting close to the end of the program, so what I would like to do is ask you a question regarding the experiences that you have had over the years. I know we have talked about quite a few in the past ourselves, but
Sure.
share something with the viewers, something that you think is something maybe special, something different that that you are proud of.
I think we were talking that last week we had a case where we were able to vacate a murder conviction after 50 years.
Wow.
The gentleman was convicted of murder at the age of 17 in 1966. And he spent 50 years in prison. And somehow we were able to recover the jury instructions that the judge had given in the trial, and we found that there was a very significant error. And the court vacated this. And now he's on his way out of prison after 50 years being locked up.
Wow, congratulations, good job. I'm pretty sure he's a very happy person.
He's the happiest man I've
I'm
ever
sure.
met.
I'm sure that certainly
Yeah.
makes him very happy. So the cameraman it's giving us an indication we're pretty much towards the end of the program. Let me just try to wrap this up and give it over to you. But I just wanted to mention to the viewers that Attorney Wright will be joining us on the Capitol Forum on an ongoing basis permanently now. He will be sitting with me at times discussing certain topics. He will also be sitting with Attorney Ramesh Khurana. Everybody knows him as well. We will be having panel discussions as well. So join me in welcoming Mr. Wright to our program.
Thank you, Adam.
Welcome on board.
Thank you. Thank you again.